League of Tomorrow is back, giving you fantasy football advice today to help you lose your leagues tomorrow. I think I said that right. All right, welcome in everybody, and let's ride. But not like the Broncos country, because the only thing they're going is to ride into a top 10 pick that they don't even own.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah, baby.
So today we have a couple buy and sell targets and a couple pickups. Let's get right into it with our first one of Kenneth Walker is my buy target at the running back position with Rashad Penny going down. He's someone I've been drafting everywhere in underdog to start with. He was a guy who coming out of college had a 4.38 40-yard dash, and that was 114.7 speed score. That is 96th percentile. He is that upper echelon of speed, which is what we look for in the League of Tomorrow, because we know high-end speeds means you can break a very long play, and in one play you can almost make a whole fantasy day. The only thing he had going wrong for him, besides being a high draft pick, I mean, he's got that backfield to himself right now, is he only had a 5.4 college target share, but he still that year ran over 150 routes out of the backfield and through various other positions lined out wide. It was just that they didn't utilize their running backs at that college like we would like to see. They were underutilized in the passing game. It does not mean that Kenneth Walker cannot do it. It just shows that, you know, when he was given the opportunity to get these passes, he was doing well with these. He looked good running routes and catching the ball. We even saw it in the preseason. And on top of that, he had 1,636 yards his junior year, his final year of college. And as well, he had 1,168 yards after contact. That was number one in the college level, and he had 84 tackles broken, and that was also number one in the college level last year. So it just shows, that ridiculous stat alone just shows how he has that high-end upside. What are your thoughts on Kenneth Walker?
Well, I'm going to start with number one. College stats can kind of be iffy at best. I mean, if they're at a collegiate level, yeah, it sticks a little bit more with the touchdowns. However, guys like Chad Shillings actually were able to break records in the college, system they were in. But it's so shotgunny with colleges that even though they can have all these productive stats and everything, it sometimes doesn't relate to the NFL, and sometimes it does.
That is very true, but we saw last week, what did he just do last week? He broke on 8 touchdowns, he had over 80 yards and a touchdown, and he broke a very long touchdown on one of those plays. So it really shows at the NFL level already he can do that. Just like a couple guys, Tyler Lockett after this week, I think you could go sell Tyler Lockett and get Kenneth Walker. And the running back position is just so valuable in today's game that I would be doing that trade 10 out of 10 times.
So back to my point, the whole college thing, it's kind of like interesting the way that you would look at it. And another thing with Kenneth Walker, the way that he started his NFL career, he was injured. That's why Rashad Penny got the majority of the carries from the first few weeks. However, I did also draft Kenneth Walker like everywhere, so I think he's a great pickup, and he's a good running back. And he's actually, when he plays, he does really well. I think that moving forward, he could be a top 10 back. So he's definitely somebody to trade for. Could you trade a Tyler Lockett for him? I don't think you could, because the running back position is so scarce.
This is 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Geno looks good. I really think it is a possible thing.
But the fact of the matter is Geno Smith. I think that people are going to be coveting Kenneth Walker than they would more Tyler Lockett. Now, if you could trade it for it, absolutely. But I think that you're going to have to trade a bit more to get it, and he's going to be worth it. I think he's going to be what does Pete Carroll like to do? He likes to run the ball. So I think he's a great pickup and somebody that everyone should be adding.
I mean, he's more talented, in my opinion, than Rashad Penny in that same offense, even though Rashad Penny did look good before he was
he looked great, but I agree.
But I think Kenneth Walker can do even better. So let's go. Let's get one of you have a sell target?
Oh, yeah, I do have a sell target. Let me get the paper out. I wasn't expecting to go. So, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a funky sell situation. So you should be selling Najee Harris right now. And here's the reason. His points, throughout the season are 10, 12, 12, 9, and 6. That's not very good. He's got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next, which is the number 1 rush defense. Then he has to play the Miami, which is 21, which isn't too bad. But then he has to go into Philadelphia Eagles, which are an insanely good defense. And then he's got another New Orleans, who is number 7 against the run, and then Cincinnati's number 3. You are not going to want to have this guy on your roster at the time. However, this is a caveat. Because if you're a playoff team and you're doing really well, I would buy him after he does terrible in these weeks, because he's going to. Because he's going to have to go play Carolina, Las Vegas, and Baltimore. That's the 26th, 23rd, and 16th ranked defense in the playoffs when you have this guy. And that's somebody you're going to want on the team. But it's somebody that if you were not very good right now, you need to sell him because he's not going to help.
But what are you going to get for him? I mean,
and this is something
he's not a sell target because you're not going to get very much value out of Najee. You're not going to get the value you want. Yeah, if you need to go buy a couple wins, but what realistically could you get? Maybe I don't even think you can get a Cortland Sutton for him.
I would trade him if I'm in a desperate mood. I'd trade him for Ramondre Stevenson. I'd trade him for Kenneth Walker. I would trade him for a running back like that, or a receiver that will help you now, because it's going to help you now. And does he have trade potential? Yes, because of his name. He was a high draft pick last year, and he was drafted highly this year and last year. So you can use that towards trading, because name value is super key when you're trading. And even if they suck, they're going to have opportunity to be traded because of the name alone.
See, in my opinion, like guys like the Fantasy Footballers podcast have been talking him so down. And, these are the widely listened to podcasts that I really think you're going to have a hard time selling him for anything of value. But I do like buying him in a couple weeks when that owner is just sick of having Najee and they're going to let him go for pennies on the dollar.
And it will happen. Pennies, yeah. Shot penny.
So I'll go to my next trade target, and it's a buy for me. It's Chris Godwin. He's looking healthy after the injury. He had 10 targets last week, I believe, and he's just looking back to his former self. Like if Chris Godwin was fully healthy right now, or at the beginning of the season, he would have been going around that Mike Evans territory, that second, third round pick. And because people got him between the 5th and 7th round, I really don't know if people have adjusted their mindset yet to be like, no, this guy is worth that much. So I think you can really buy him low on the cheap. He looks healthy, and he's just an easy buy target for me. There's not much else I can say. Tom Brady still looks the part. He really needs a good wide receiver where he hasn't had them healthy for this long, and as soon as he got him back, he's instantly utilized in a high target game. He's not Mike Evans getting those deep shots, but he's so safe with a good floor with these mid to short targets. What are your thoughts on Chris Godwin?
Well, right now Tom Brady's hyper targeting Mike Evans, and he's going to be hyper targeting his talented wide receiver / running back, which is Leonard Fournette.
Hey, that was my buy.
Yeah. If Chris Godwin can come back healthy, that's the key. Healthy.
He looked healthy though. He is.
He had a lot of targets. It wasn't the best game, but he had a lot of targets. Yeah, that's good. If he can come back healthy and productive, yeah, he can be somebody to buy. But when you buy him, don't start him. I would put him on the sideline.
There's no way I'm benching him. There's a league where I have Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, and either Pittman or Sutton are getting benched. I'm not benching Godwin with this upside. I see this prolific offense that is high powered. Tom Brady can score where those other guys aren't in as good as an offense. I think if you have him, he is a must start guy, and you need to go trade for him. Like if he had a touchdown last week, things would be different right now. People would be a lot more hyped, but without that touchdown, people aren't thinking about just the targets, just the receptions. They're thinking about the overall fantasy points, and that's it. Where if he had this touchdown on top of it, people would be going over the roof for him, I believe.
Yeah, and I don't think you should look too deeply into targets sometimes. Like, it's great, but if they get a lot of targets and it's not a lot of catches, it's probably because, a target will count if the quarterback's throwing the ball away. A target will count if it's a bad pass towards them. A target will count if they drop it. A target will count if it's swatted.
I don't believe that. I firmly believe that targets are earned. They are earned opportunity. If you are given the ball, if you are throwing the ball for the most part, unless it's the QB throwing it out and you were the guy in that area, targets are very earned, and I do think that is a very, very good stat to go off of targets over touchdowns. Right? Touchdowns can go positive or negative. They can go one way any year.
I don't know about you, but a touchdown on my receiver is always a positive.
Right, but they are. That has nothing to do with what I said.
He said touchdowns could be positive or negative.
But, Chris Godwin, I just think you can get him cheaper than he's really worth right now. And Let's go to your next guy. Do you have another buy or sell or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to one of my buys, and that's going to be Curtis Samuel, who feels like a Debo light at this point. And by Debo light, I mean a Debo extra light, because he's good, but he's not going to be that good.
Phrased well.
This is a guy who week 1, 11 targets, week 2, 9, then 10, then 7 and 8. But he's not only getting targets, the fact is he's getting the catches 8, 7, 7, 4, and 6. So he's getting the target. Even with the Eagles, he had a good game.
Well, and that defense is atrocious as well. So they're going to be having to throw the ball a lot.
And Carson Wentz, I don't know if there's a couple touchdowns called back already this season. And that's happening. This guy's good. Like they paid him a ton money to be a wide receiver there. And with McLaurin and the Doxson, he's going to be injured for a little bit. But this guy was injured completely last year. This year he's healthy, which is great to see. And he's playing against the number 20 defense this week. And he's also the number 20 wide receiver on the season, as is. So this is a guy whose name is kind of iffy. So
he doesn't have that name value.
No, he's got none. So you can trade for non-name value.
So what would you do? You have like a certain value, like someone you'd be looking to sell just to help the listeners out to kind of give them a gauge of value?
Sure, I'd trade like a Najee Harris, and then to get a Curtis Samuel and a running back that gives you some value already.
So you're talking about him on a throw-in deal, like you're technically downgrading.
Yeah, because his name value isn't big enough to be the main
like if
part
you
of
got a
the deal.
Ramondre Stevenson, and you're like, hey, Stevenson for him,
if you
could get them to
if you
throw
trade
in off
Najee
that name
Harris,
value for Curtis Samuel.
Najee Harris, Ramondre, and Curtis Samuel, I do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm still iffy, but I can easily see it. It just depends on how I'm looking this season. If I'm in a desperate situation and need a win now, I can see that mindset. So you had a couple pickup targets. Do you want to go on to that?
Yeah. So basically, my number one quarterback to pick up right now is going to be Geno Smith. He's going to be playing the 25th, the 20th, the 15th, and the 25th defense coming up, and the dude has been electric. He's not only he's being a prolific passer, he's rushing the ball. They have design runs. For a couple weeks, he had like the most design runs played called for a quarterback.
Yeah, the Broncos traded for the wrong
I know,
QB,
right? Yeah,
right?
the Seahawks were onto something. He's got a very favorable matchup, and if you're the kind of person to stream a quarterback, pick him up now. I'd put maybe 15% to 20% of your fab on it, because if you look in your league, he's probably available.
I don't think you need to put that much fab onto him. Honestly, I think you can pick him up if you out of $100 budget for maybe 6 to 8%.
Well, if quarterback's the only thing you need, I would do it 100%.
I understand that if you really need. I mean, there's some
his
leagues
name's Geno Smith, so there's a chance that they're like, oh, this guy that broke his jaw to a linebacker.
That's why I would not lay out that much fab. I really think you can get away with it for a bit cheaper. Another guy kind of audible and mentioned for a buy. It's Travis Etienne for me. He's that pass catching running back. That can be a 3-down skill set. In the Jaguars, if they're down, he can still score. Just no matter what, you see that Travis Etienne is just a great pass-catching back, and he had 10 carries for 70 yards this week. He had a couple receptions, and you see him slowly, like his stat percentage every week has gone up, and it's like they're trying to integrate him back in the offense where Robinson is their veteran, and they're used to him, and they know he can do it. But you can slowly see Travis Etienne coming up in snap percentage and just being, by the end of the season, possibly a league-winning like back. People sold him off so quickly right now. I don't think it takes much to buy him.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't buy him. I'm not going to buy him until I see like proof.
I mean, you're seeing it. You're seeing the snaps go up. You're seeing everything go up. He's outproducing Robinson with per touch.
But what's his running back value right now? What is your RB? What? 30?
But that's my point. What do you have to trade to get him? You don't have to trade much.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want him.
Exactly why he is such an easy buy. Because people like you don't realize how hard it is to find a running back with league-winning upside for that cheap. There's no way that you cannot at least throw out an offer for Etienne this week.
I wouldn't.
Well, some people are stupid and some people win leagues.
I got more championships than you.
No, you don't anymore.
I do.
All right. And I think that's it for the show.
No, I got one more buy. Oh. I got a fantastic buy for everybody.
Am I reading this right?
It's fantastic buy.
It sure is. It's probably a waiver wire pickup, to be honest, and it's one of those streaming quarterbacks. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to get Josh Allen on the waiver wire. Wait, what? Josh Allen?
No, I see your notes.
No,
just
check it out. Check it out. So it's going to be Danny Dimes. He's Josh Allen when he was a rookie. So he's got the rushing upside, but he's not that accurate right now. But right now he's the number 14 quarterback. He only has 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, if you watched him when he played against the very good defense, which was the Dallas Cowboys, he was making everything happen on his own.
And he finally had it over 200 yards, his first time in his career in passing yards.
So,
wow.
Like I said, Josh Allen, rookie year.
That was not that bad. And he's had 4
this
years.
isn't even that
This
bad.
is no rookie year.
Number
He's
4
on his 4th freaking year.
Number 14 overall quarterback right now is not that bad. This guy's rushing.
Well, it's not a starter. You only need...
This guy's rushing when he has to. And he's gotten better as a quarterback. And he is, like I said, Josh Allen rookie year. So this is a guy you could pick up and play if you're desperate at quarterback or need a quarterback to start this week.
Okay, yeah, you can
He's
pick
got-
him
he's
up
got
to
some
play,
favorite-
but you compare him to Josh Allen, and you sound like the biggest fucking dumbass I've ever seen.
Josh Allen rookie year.
No, Josh Allen rookie year was still better than that hoax of a QB. But he's got rushing upside, so I can't disagree with that.
That's the exact thing that Josh Allen was when he's a rookie. He was very inaccurate and he had rushing upside.
Okay, this does not mean you should compare him to Josh Allen. Because you're just comparing the bad parts of Josh Allen.
Yep, I sure was. That's the point. It's to entice you.
No one's enticed by the bad parts of him.
Well, I would be if I
And after 4 years, he's not going to make some giant leap. He hasn't shown it this year yet. Josh Allen came out on fire when he broke out.
It's a giant sleep. Get it? Because of the Giants, New York Giants. Classic. Either way, look, for reals, Josh Allen's looking a lot better than he has his entire career. He's somebody that you should be looking at and possibly streaming.
All right, and thank you everyone for the joining in. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and be careful with Daniel Jones. Take that advice with a grain of salt.